Rain taps against the glass in a steady, rhythmic pulse. The room is warm, heavy with the scent of dried lavender and the dust of old books. You open your eyes to a ceiling you have never seen before. The walls are unfamiliar. The light filtering through the curtains is wrong. You sit up, your heart rate spiking as you scan the space, searching for a single object that belongs to you. Nothing. The silence of the house is absolute, broken only by the shifting of weight on the mattress beside you. A man turns. His eyes meet yours, crinkling with a warmth that should be comforting, but instead makes your skin crawl. He leans in, his breath brushing against your temple. He presses a firm, lingering kiss to your forehead. "Happy anniversary, darling," he whispers. The words hang in the air, thick and suffocating. 2 years today. You stare at him, your muscles locking into place. He smiles, a soft, practiced expression that does not reach his eyes. You do not know this room. You do not know this man. Your mind races, clawing for a memory of the last 24 hours, but finds only the static of a city night. You were 24. You are still 24. The math does not work, yet he speaks with the calm certainty of a man reading a ledger. 2 years, he repeats, his voice smooth as polished stone. He reaches out, his fingers tracing the line of your jaw before tucking a stray lock of hair behind your left ear with practiced, rhythmic precision. You flinch, but he does not notice, or perhaps he simply chooses not to. He moves to the nightstand, pours water into a glass, and hands it to you. He knows the exact temperature you prefer, the exact amount of ice, the exact moment you need it. He leans closer, his gaze dropping to your hands. "You still hate deep water," he murmurs, his tone shifting into something dangerously soft. "You still dream of drowning." The air in the room turns thin. He knows the secret fear you have never spoken aloud to anyone. He knows the architecture of your subconscious. You force your lips into a smile, a brittle, trembling thing that feels like a lie. You nod, pretending to remember, pretending to belong. The front door clicks shut, sealing the house in a sudden, heavy silence. You do not wait. You scramble from the bed, your fingers trembling as you snatch your phone from the bedside table. The screen illuminates, revealing a date that matches his claim. 2 years later. You swipe through the interface, your breath coming in short, jagged bursts. Every notification, every saved contact, every timestamp confirms the impossible. You open your banking app. The transaction history is a sprawling, chronological map of a life you never lived. Grocery stores, utility bills, rent payments, all dated, all verified. You check your social media profiles. There are photos of you at dinners, at work, at parks, standing beside him in every frame. You search for a glitch, a mistake, a single sign that this is a fabrication, but the digital footprint is seamless. You are not just missing time, you are a ghost in your own existence. The evidence is absolute. 730 days of your life have been erased. You drop the phone onto the carpet, the silence of the room now feeling like a cage. Digital records can be forged, but physical objects hold the weight of truth. You leave the bedroom, your footsteps muffled by the thick carpet, and head toward the narrow pull-down ladder in the hallway ceiling. You yank the cord. The ladder descends with a sharp, metallic groan that echoes through the quiet house. You climb, your hands gripping the rough wood, pulling yourself into the stale, dust-choked air of the attic. Sunlight filters through a single, grime-streaked window, illuminating floating motes of dust. You scan the space, ignoring the neatly stacked storage bins that bear his organized labels. You need something he has not touched. In the far corner, tucked beneath a pile of discarded blankets, you find it. A shoebox, its corners frayed and soft. You pull it into the light, your heart thumping against your ribs. You lift the lid. Inside, the scent of old paper and fading ink rises to meet you. You reach in and pull out the first photograph. It is a wedding ceremony. You are standing there, facing a man whose face is hidden by a harsh, deliberate lens flare. You spread the photographs across the floorboards, arranging them in a line that stretches across the last 2 years. The first image shows a woman with a wide, genuine smile, her posture relaxed and open. You move to the next, taken 6 months later. The smile is still there, but the eyes are fixed, staring into the lens with a forced intensity. You push further into the timeline. A year ago, the change becomes undeniable. The way you hold your shoulders has tightened, pulling inward, as if bracing for an impact. You flip to the photos from 6 months ago. The laughter has vanished from your face, replaced by a vacant, polite expression. You scan the most recent prints. The woman in these images is a shadow. Her gaze is hollow, her features softened into a mask of compliance. Each photo acts as a frame in a film of slow, calculated erosion. You touch the glossy surface of the final picture, tracing the line of a jaw. Every image is a testament to a project of reconstruction, documenting the day-by-day dismantling of your own will. You leave the attic, the floorboards creaking under your weight, and descend into the hallway. You walk toward the vanity mirror in the master bathroom, the same mirror you stood before this morning. You hold the final photograph up, placing it beside your own reflection. The match is precise. The same vacant stare, the same carefully composed stillness. You lean closer, pressing your fingertips against the cold glass. You look for a flicker of recognition, a spark of the person who once laughed without checking the room first. But there is nothing. You are looking at a curated version of yourself, a polished, compliant mannequin designed to fit perfectly into this life. The realization hits with the force of a physical blow. This was never a marriage built on shared history or mutual growth. It was a project of reconstruction. He did not just invite you into his home. He systematically edited your personality until you became a reflection of his own desires. The truth is not a thought. It is a weight. You are not a wife in a home, but a specimen in a display case. Every memory he fed you, every habit he corrected, every preference he nurtured was a chisel stroke on a statue he intended to keep. You look at your hands, the same hands that have spent 2 years performing the motions of a life you never chose. The horror is not that you forgot, but that you were made to forget. You turn away from the vanity, refusing to acknowledge the curated reflection. The room feels smaller now, the walls pressing in with the suffocating intent of his design. You are not a partner. You are a captive, held in place by the architecture of his obsession. The compliance that defined your last 730 days snaps like a dry branch. You stand in the center of the room, your breath hitching, your pulse hammering against your throat. The project is complete, but the subject is waking up. You are no longer the woman he edited into existence. You are the person he tried to bury. And you are finally ready to fight for the space you occupy. The air in the bathroom still vibrates with your vow when the sound cuts through the house. It is not the creak of settling timber. It is the sharp metallic click of the front door latch disengaging. Your breath stops in your throat. He is not due back for 3 hours. The timeline breaks. The pattern fractures. You hear the heavy thud of the door closing, followed by the removal of shoes, placed neatly on the mat. Then, the footsteps begin. They are steady, rhythmic, and moving straight toward the hallway. Panic floods your veins, cold and electric. You look down at the photograph still clutched in your hand, the evidence of his editing lying exposed on the tile. You cannot let him see it. You drop the photo face down and kick it under the vanity cabinet with a frantic scrape of your heel. The footsteps pause at the end of the hall. Silence stretches, thick and suffocating, lasting only a second, but feeling like an eternity. Then they resume, slower this time. He knows you are in here. The game has shifted again, And this time, he holds the first move. The handle turns. It moves with a slow, agonizing grind of metal against metal. You do not retreat. You do not hide. You plant your feet, feeling the solid resistance of the floor beneath you. The door swings open, revealing him. He stands there, his face fixed in that familiar, practiced expression of concern. He opens his mouth to speak, to offer some rehearsed comfort, but you do not give him the chance. You step forward, closing the distance he expected you to maintain. The surprise on his face is the first crack in his design. He reaches out, a gesture intended to soothe, but you catch his wrist midair. The contact is electric. You feel the pulse beneath his skin, steady and arrogant, and you squeeze. His eyes widen. He realizes the mannequin has stopped moving to his rhythm. You lean in, your voice low, stripped of the forced sweetness. You are not his wife. You are the consequence of his arrogance. He tries to pull away, but you hold him firm. The cycle of his editing ends here. You look him directly in the eye, and for the first time, you see fear. You push him back, step into the hallway, and take the first breath of a life that finally belongs to you.